It is so hot right now, and it was only a matter of time before we got here, and we can't avoid it anymore. From July of 2025, word started to get round that companies are saying that they want to set up data centers in Lagos. What does that have to do with why the weather is hot right now? Well, it does have something to do with our environment and our climate. It is so important that this is the first time I'm ever recording an evening video for my YouTube channel for the longest time since I actually came back to creating content again. These investments will be worth billions of dollars and they will likely be bringing revenue to the state. However, do we really need data centers in Lagos? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hello, I am Antoinette. This is my little corner of the YouTube internet, and here I mostly talk about my hobbies, and occasionally I do share a bit of my life, and we dive into topics like this. And this is one of those days, and there's a notepad for a reason, right? So I don't digress and ramble on like I did with some of my videos. Today, we're going to be talking about if Nigeria, specifically Lagos, needs data centers. But let's start with what exactly a data center is. I did have to look up a definition that I could use to explain what a data center is. It's basically a physical facility that has like central organization, or it controls the central organization of any IT company, and it does this by housing thousands of network computer servers at the same time. A lot of tech companies have always had data centers since the advancement of computers and the internet. However, there is a reason that there are so much more data centers and we need to have more data centers. And the answer is AI. If you've ever used an AI software, you definitely have to pay close attention to everything I'm saying in this video, because we cannot talk about data centers without addressing AI. So when people tell you things like, oh my God, AI is bad, don't use AI, don't do this, support recreators, support human creators, sometimes it's not just about the human creators that are getting cheated by having their works fed into AI just so you can have your trend or whatever is going on. It actually has a lot more consequences than you think, okay? So let's get into it. So many people send requests to AIs. They would ask AI tools to perform certain tasks for them. I'm pretty sure you've tried it. Make this person disappear from this picture, remove background, even though you have a remove background website and stuff like that. If you've ever made any request, what you're doing is you're asking this artificial intelligence software to perform complex tasks that would take a professional maybe a couple of minutes to hours, but to do it in mere seconds. And that takes a certain level of skills, right? It takes more efficiency than it would require for normal tasks. Now, for this to work effectively, it's not just costing you your internet subscription that you're using to get access to this service, it is also costing water. For AI to work effectively, data centers need to be operating at high capacity, and this linked computers, sometimes they would overheat. You've used your phone to play games sometimes and it overheats. You've used your PC to the point where it overheats. People who have used desktop, you know how that stuff overheats to the point where it starts glitching or it starts acting out. The only way for it to function properly is if it's in a cool environment, and that is what water is used for. So these data centers need a huge amount of water to keep the systems cool enough for people to use it from anywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter where the data center is actually located. The AI software is connected to the data center. So every single time you send a request to an AI, it is sent to the data center and then it's processed and then the answer reaches you on your device. I really hope that that is a best way for me to describe this. But if there is any professional who is more skilled or more detailed when it comes to AI technology and how it works, you can explain how it works better than me in the comments. I'm just a journalist. I don't really know. I'm just a writer and a journalist. I everything I'm saying in this video is based off of my research. So yeah. Okay, so that is the cost we have to pay. We have to pay with water, right? But I'm pretty sure people are like, we have plenty of water. The planet is 71% water. Well, you are actually right, except the problem is while the planet is 70 to 71% water, these data centers are built on land. Hence, they have to share the same water resources as you and I. The same water that we drink, we use to shower, we use to cook, we use for planting and farming and everything. This is the same water that data centers uses. Now, because they're sharing the same resources with us, that leaves us humans with limited water supply. And that is a side effect that is very, very grave because some areas have complained that their waters are poisoned. Sometimes the water dries up, the water ecosystems are drying up in several areas where they do not have access to water. There are even some states, I think there were some reports from some states in the United States are even going to the point of having to ration water for the citizens because they're literally running out of water. And there are still countries who are telling you, there are companies that will tell you water is not a human right. That when things like this get to that point where you cannot see water as a human right, as a basic human right, even though you quite literally need water as a human being to survive, that is exactly what happens in places that have data centers. So it's not as if these data centers are something new. They've existed for the longest time. Coming to Nigeria, that is the new thing. So why are the data centers coming to Africa and why is it likely coming to Lagos? Because Lagos is not the first place. Like on my show, my radio show that I host in Lagos, we have this segment called Keeping Up with the Neighbors. And there we do check up on the other African countries to see the business deals and progress that they have made. And oftentimes in 2025, there were some African countries that had accepted deals from the United States and from other countries to build data centers in their country. And they accept billions of dollars of investment to set up these data centers. But why are they bringing it here? Because of the negative side effects of having data centers in people's cities for so long, some people are banding together to protest against data centers, and some communities have successfully rejected data centers from their community. However, these AI companies have to make money somehow. It's a business, so they cannot allow their source of income to be completely shut down by a group of people who say, I don't want data center in my community. They have to make money somehow. So what are they doing? They're taking the data centers away from the cities that are rejecting them and taking them to places that would likely welcome them in the form of investments because these areas need money and foreign investors, aka Africa and Nigeria. That is actually why they're coming here, right? So lots of African countries, including Nigeria, we need the foreign investments. But ask yourself, is it really worth the cost? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So Nigeria is already battling with water scarcity. You may or may not have heard of the situation that's happening in Abuja, where there's some areas of Abuja that are dealing with water scarcity due to water being redirected through a dam to a particular farm. I've seen someone speak up about this over and over again. And aside from that, Nigeria struggles with lack of infrastructure in so many aspects, so many sectors of our lives. And we've also seen what oil exploration did to so many of the southern states. And it's quite obvious that we stand to lose so much than gain. I'm talking about the average Nigerian now, not like the country as a whole, the average Nigerian. The people who will likely gain from having data centers in Lagos are the elites, and these elites barely even live in the country with us. They do not have the same water systems as everyone else in the country. There are some people in Lagos who are still buying water. They do not have water in their compound. They have to buy water from other places and fetch it with buckets and whatnot. It happens in so many parts of the country. Now imagine people who are literally paying to have access to water, and now this water is even going to be poisoned and corrupted even more to the point where the little supply that we have is going to be limited. There are certain parts of Lagos Island that buy water in tankers, for crying out loud, because the water that's coming out of the ground is not clean enough for them to drink or for them to eat. So this shouldn't even be like in the conversation at all. So let us continue the conversation in the comments. Do you think Nigeria should accept data centers, or should we stop them from coming into the country before they have a chance to harm our environment? Do not forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Oh my god. I just realized that I'm matching. Is this a blooper that I'm recording anyway? So I prepared myself one of this so that I wouldn't get distracted. I wish I could add some alcohol into it, but today is Tuesday and I have work tomorrow, Wednesday. The weather's so hot, I'm probably gonna do another video about this. Mm, yeah, bye.